This is my tip of the day, and if you're a parent, stay until the end. What I've always said is that the more places you invite the police, the more people are going to get arrested. Well, this is true here in Florida, and it's about our schools. So after the Parkland shooting, the Florida legislature determined that and passed legislation that every school needs to have a resource officer, K through 12. And that was actually a very well-intentioned move from a public safety perspective. But the unintended consequence is that kids are being arrested at a greater rate than ever before. This is because your kids are actually coming in contact with a police officer much earlier and much more frequently than they ever would have without these police in the schools. But what we're finding is that the presence of those police have caused elementary school arrests, but also middle school and high school arrests to skyrocket within the state of Florida. And so this is not a anti-police sort of message. This is a message about, okay, we brought these police into the schools for public safety, but does that role also involve behavioral issues, especially behavioral issues for children who are known to have behavioral issues? So the question is should teachers and administrators rely on police to help deal with behavioral issues? In the past, those behavioral issues were dealt with through, calling the parent and asking the parent to intervene, so on and so forth. Special training for teachers that allowed them to sort of de-escalate those situations and get that kid back on track. But today what we're finding is that kids are being arrested for these behavioral issues that have always existed, but now are somewhat being criminalized. So with that in mind, there's a story out of Key West, Florida. So a young man, age 8, who's autistic, by the way, was having a behavioral issue, and that resulted in an arrest. And in the process of arresting this child, the police officer had trouble getting handcuffs on the kid. He never really got the handcuffs on because the kid's wrists and hands were too small for the handcuffs at their smallest point. So another case in Orlando, in the shadow of the happiest place on earth, a 6-year-old girl is arrested for, again, another behavioral issues. So, what we have to be asking ourselves is that the proper role for police in our schools? So what you're probably not aware of is in Florida between 2018 and 2019, there were 345 arrests of elementary school age children in the state. Children. That's my conversation and tip for today.